a drone's kind of life. So we are going to be getting into game number 1. We do have Curse Gaming is the blue team, whereas Ordinance Gaming is going to be the purple squad. And we actually just loaded directly into the game right now. I am live, according to mine, at about 5 seconds into the game, Sullla.
I am right there with you, Tom. So fortunately, we're all synced up and we're ready to go.
All right, this is awesome. We do see pings going out very, very early from Curse. Going into this bottom lane tri-bush, this could potentially be a steal on the blue buff. We do know that Nocturne doesn't necessarily have to start at blue buff, but he does want to maybe pick that up to move through his jungle a little bit quicker. Odd One definitely has popularized the fact of going for a wolves in the blue buff, getting a very strong pull, not using that smite, going directly for a red buff, and then potentially ganking top lane. And since they are on the red side of this game, top lane is a little bit easier to gank for them.
Tom, one thing about this level 1 setup is Curse has a really terrifying level 1 team. They have Alistar and Taric, so their level 1 is really, really good. They're going to be looking to force an engagement here at level 1 just because they have these stuns on their team, especially Alistar is pulverized. So Curse is going to be looking to fight, and Ordinance is going to have to be very careful. That's why they've warded their own blue. They're probably looking to avoid a fight here on the part of Ordinance.
Yeah, they came out axes a swinging and Karthus globes a busting, so they are really looking for that level 1 fight, even sticking around very, very long, even though they don't see that Ordinance Gaming is here. Ord, however, is just waiting in the wings, being very, very sneaky, seeing if Curse is going to stick around. It does not look like they are. It looks like that they are going to be going back towards their own blue buff and starting out their jungle pattern for Alistar that way. This is going to leave either continue with the blue buff uncontested, although they do have vision of it, so they'll know if they go back there, or we're just gonna have to see, because Ordinance is all just still kind of grouped up by their base, being a little bit afraid to go in.
And Curse might be thinking that Ordinance went to their own blue to try to do that. Each team steals the other team's blue, which we do see sometimes, but as it turns out, looks like there's just not going to be any action, and both junglers are just going to get a very standard wolves into blue buff start. Although Ordinance is still very tentative. See, they know they have their blue warded, but they don't know that their wolves are safe, so they're a little bit slowed here. Yoda, the jungle Nocturne, is going to be a little bit behind because he doesn't know that there's no one at his wolves, and again, they're just trying to play very cautiously because they are really afraid of that level 1 engagement.
Yes, indeed. He is going to get a very, very nice leash from the rest of his team, though. We're going to see here he does actually use Smite, so we're probably not going to see too much of an early aggression from Nocturne. He does take down his blue buff, but Alistar taking his blue buff down now already has the Wolves, so he has hit level 2. Nocturne, though, not doing a bad job catching up with level 2. So even though they got off to a little bit of a slow start, the jungle seemed pretty standard for both sides. We have Ryze and Karthus just dancing around the mid lane here. Bottom lane of Ashe and Janna going head-to-head with Cops, Graves, and Elements Taric. And then top lane, Malphite a little bit slow to get up there. Olaf is almost level 2, whereas Malphite has not gotten a single experience. Oh, so yeah, Alistar did want to try to come in here for Ken into the middle lane, did not really work out. He does find Nocturne going for his own rates over there. Might try to contest this, but it doesn't look like too much is going to come with this. Just a little bit of footsies in the mid lane right now.
St. Vicious was trying to get that level 2 gank on Kenance, the Ryze player in mid, wasn't quite able to do it. He was spotted by Yoda, the Nocturne player, so ended up wasting a little bit of his time. They're pinging the red buff here on Ordinance, so we'll see if there ends up being a fight for this.
Yeah, they do know that Nocturne was going to be in that area of his jungle because they spotted him at race. Nocturne's actually going to have to fall back because Westrice has done a really good job of like kind of pushing Malphite out of the lane here. Brax is going to come here and meet with an Avastar pulverized. Fear goes off on Westrice, though. Ryze is going to come in from the middle lane. Pops a cleanse. That's a very good idea there. Ryze is going to get very low, but it will be first blood for Ordinance. Malphite is going to take that down. Nijacky's caught all by himself. Ken is going the long way around everything, and we'll come back around to pick up the kill on Nijacky. I'm sorry, Karthus, you don't have ult yet, so Ryze is going to get away, and St. Vicious is going to be running for his life as well, trying to run back up towards the top lane. Nocturne is not going to follow. He's going to be content taking his red buff, and a little bit of a fail invade there for Curse.
It was a completely failed invade. That just went disastrously wrong. They're trying to play, Curse is trying to play really aggressive. St. Vicious is trying to do that counter jungling thing. The only problem is Alistar's not really that good at counter jungling. He is not really that great at 1v1. He's more about ganking the lanes and trying to get a kill along with whoever's laning in there. The sort of the standard Alistar play on blue side of the map is grab blue buff and then gank top lane or gank mid at level 2. So he's really stronger at that than sort of 1v1ing in the jungle. And right there, it was a case where Ordinance Gaming saw that they were being invaded. They were able to force a 3v3, and they just came fight. In particular, Westrice, he got very low on Olaf, and again, because he had Ghost instead of Flash, he could have flashed to safety, but he only had Ghost, so was not able to make it out of there. And so, first blood and a second kill, both going over to Ordinance, and they have to be extremely happy with how this game has started out.
Oh yeah, definitely. And now the experience advantage that Olaf had on top lane has really gone in favor of Malphite, as he is a little bit up in experience. He has up in gold because of that kill, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself despite, off to a little bit of a slow start from the jungle there. St. Vicious not done yet, is still on the prowl with Alistar. We talked about in the Champions Select how powerful his ganks are early. And Tarek down here has been doing a really good job of gaining bush control, so potentially not seeing Alistar coming in for a bush gank, but they do have it warded, so now they know exactly what is up. We could just see Ordinance Gaming here being very, very passive.
We've
and
got
just
a
farming
top
up against
gank.
the tower.
It looks like Nocturne's going for a gank in top, but Westrice is going to be recalling back, it looks like. Or his spider sense is tingling. He knows that something's going on.
He does. He is going to pop an axe into the bush and find that Yoda is there waiting in the wings. He is going to get a fear down. Westrice, he could fall down. Yoda does have that red buff. Oh, one hit away. Yoda's going to take some tower shots, but not going for the kill. Brax is playing just a little bit too far back, so no kill there on Westrice, although they do effectively now force him out of the lane, which is just going to let Malphite continue to farm up and be a little bit more ahead of him in this lane.
Still, that's not too bad for Olaf. The minion power, so he was looking probably to go back anyway. The fact that he's able to dodge that, even when he has no summoners up, he did not have flash or ignite up. Pretty good play from Westrice there, being able to escape. Yoda maybe could have gotten the kill, but he certainly would have died in order to get that kill, because his own flash was also down from that last fight, so probably not worth it to dive, and he just ended up not being successful on that gank. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, so not too much going in the top lane, although, like we said, Malphite and Nocturne did a little bit of a victory there, but Westrice is able to get away and be A-okay. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, we have a little bit of an item advantage for Ryze. He did get that early kill and was able to stick around the mid lane to farm up onto his own tier of the goddess. Nijaki, with that Sapphire Crystal after his first set, is probably going to go back and pick up his own right now. So Ryze, a couple stacks on his tier of the goddess. No, actually, Karthus is going to go back and pick up a Ruby Crystal, so he's going for a faster Catalyst, whereas Ryze going to be able to spam a lot of spells with that tier of the goddess and farm up his mana for late game.
The Rod of Ages first is pretty much the standard Karthus build. You need that extra health because he has to get up close. He has to be in melee range to do his damage. Right now in mid, Nijaki, even though he did die and Ryze got ahead of him there, he's actually out farming, which is a pretty big deal. We actually look like we're going to have ganks in top lane and bottom lane right now, so let's keep an eye on both of them, Alistar and Ryze.
Yeah, I do see Ryze kind of creeping down here by the tri-bush. It is not warded, so Curse does not know what's going on up here. Meanwhile, in top lane, there's no wards up there either. Alistar is waiting, and a bush gank coming from Yoda. Looks like bottom lane is going to be the first one to have any action up here. We do see that all four are going to be going down. Elements and Cop going to try to get out of there. Elements gets tagged with all the crowd control, though, and eventually will fall to Robert Lee there as he's going to pick up the kill. Meanwhile, on top lane, Alistar is still waiting in that bush. Brax is not going to budge from tower. St. Vicious looked like he wanted to go in for a tower dive, but he's just going to give up and walk away. Unfortunately, because they do know now that two are top lane, Ordinance is going to counteract by taking this dragon, 4 members to 1 on the bottom lane there from Curse. So it's pretty much a free dragon for Ordinance. They dodge a top gank and wind up picking up a kill too.
That's just about ideal for Ordinance. They not only get the kill that they set up that 4-man gank really nicely in bottom lane. They also see, they do see the jungle Alistar. They see St. Vicious in top lane, so that's an easy free dragon for them. There's no way that Curse can contest that. Ordinance is off to a great start. 3-0, they're ahead 2,000 global gold. They got that first dragon. Going to get this blue buff donated here. They're really playing quite well thus far, and if they can keep this going, they're in great shape to take the first game of this best of 3, but still very early on in the game, only at the 8-minute mark.
Oh, Alistar is going to come back to the top lane, though, after going back. Malphite has to pop the ultimate to get out of there. Brax is very low. Ignite will not tag the kill. There's a Karthus ultimate coming out. Looks like Westrice might have wanted to go for the kill, then remembered that Nijaki was playing Karthus on his team. Decided to turn around after 1 or 2 tower shots and secure the kill for his mid lane. So both mid lanes now with their blue buffs. Karthus, of course, with that ever-growing global presence of that ultimate, is going to be a little bit more scary than Ryze if he's just sitting in the middle lane. And we did see a little bit of that scary Karthus ult coming up in top, and it secured a kill for Curse.
That right there, why Karthus is so highly prized here in this competitive play. The only good thing that's really happened for Curse thus far was the fact that Kennance, the Ryze player, has left mid a couple times. Nijaki, the Karthus player, has not left mid. He's just stayed there. He's just been farming the whole time, and that's why he is about 20 minion kills ahead.
We did see, of course, Reginald playing that Karthus at both GESL and MLG to the tune of 300 CS within 30 minutes. So we know that Karthus is a very farm-oriented champion, capable of getting basically every single creep kill in the lane, in addition to both Wraith camps. So we're going to see if Nijaki can do the same. He seems content to farm up 78 CS, and we're under 10 minutes into the game right now. So Karthus, of course, we talked about the global presence of his ultimate. Very, very farm-suited for the middle lane. And Ryze, not necessarily going to be able to add the same kind of thing. If he's going to do anything for his team, he's just going to let Karthus free farm, and I think Nijaki's going to be A-okay with that.
That's exactly the way that you do play Karthus. One thing that I do want to note is that bottom lane is basically dead even thus far. It's pretty much even in terms of minion kills, and that is really a plus for Optimus.
Ooh, we are going to see, though, a Nocturne going onto the top lane here. Mustang is going to blow the ultimate, so we cannot get the fear down. Ignite, and enough damage is going to come out, though. Brax is going to tag the kill with a little bit of a stone throat. And you know, he got really beefy and ran away with that ultimate. Just still one little rock can spell travesty for a Viking, I guess.
I think it's impressive that they're able to get that with Malphite ult being down on cooldown. They didn't have the Malphite ult. They're still able to get it with Ignite there. So nicely played, and that's going to help them out in top once again.
Yeah, once again, that top lane is going to be a little bit of a problem here for Curse, as Olaf is currently 0-2, and just taking a look at the farm, he's pretty much even in farm with Malphite. Malphite maybe has 1 or 2 CS more, but he is going to be able to come in here for the middle of a gank, and Nijaki, you know, that's the one time he maybe didn't want to be in the middle lane, when he's going to be getting clobbered by a Malphite ultimate from the top lane. And now that Olaf's been kind of forced back out of lane, Malphite pushed all the way to his tower, he does have the capability to roam around, and he is getting pretty beefy. 2-1-2. Bottom lane, meanwhile, we see Tarek is going to land a stun down on the Ashe. The smoke screen goes off, and now John is going to try to disrupt a little bit, but Ashe is taking a lot of damage from Cop on the bottom lane, but nothing too much is going to come of this. We do see Nocturne making a motion towards the bottom, as well as Rise, as Olaf had to go all the way back top. Nijaki is currently dead, so even though this aggression is still going on the bottom lane, Cop now taking a lot of damage from the Janna and Ashe. Nocturne's going to be coming in. Janna getting extremely low spells. He is going to fall to Ignite. Cop actually flashing forward into death from that one. Now Rise coming from behind. Yoda, not Nocturne, coming in from the lane. That is going to be 2 deaths for the price of 1. And even though the aggression from Cop and Elements looked like it was going to pay off, it really kind of backfired on him there, Sullla.
Well, that was all set up by Ordinance. They had Rise coming down. He was ganking through the Tri-Brush. They had Nocturne coming down. They had that planned again as a 4-man attempt right there. So they really did set that up. They were expecting it. And they're looking really strong right now. They've got it out to about a 3,000 gold advantage right now. They are ahead in most lanes right now. Rise has 3 kills in mid. Let's see, Malphite is... I guess Malphite is basically even. Actually, no, he's ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
We actually had Alistar coming in for a gank. Blew the ultimate. Now Nijak is going to flash under turret. He is actually going to fall and pick up a kill for Rise there. Westrace is going to come in from behind. The Shakira kill, he took a lot of tower shot damage. Nijaki actually burning the ultimate and is not going to pick up the kill. So that's a little bit of a wasted card, this ultimate. And a lot of aggression coming out from Curse, but they're really not net gaining too much there. Even though Westrace picked up a kill on Rise, the tower killed Nijaki, and that's not the kind of trade you want to do when you're behind.
No, well, actually, with them being behind, it works out okay, because if you're behind and you're trading 1 for 1, you usually come out a little bit ahead. The other thing is, because Karthus scales so well in the late game, trading 1 for 1 is usually not a bad thing on Karthus, but still, I mean, it's not a great play by any means. They did, Curse did have to use up Karthus ult for that, so, I mean, I guess it's basically even. I wouldn't say that there's a huge advantage to either side. Still, Ordinance is really just outplaying Curse right now. Basically, their teamwork has been better thus far. They've been setting up these 4-man ganks in bot, and that's really been the story of the game thus far. We are going to have Dragon being up again in about 1 to 2 minutes, so we will see if there's a team fight over that, or if Ordinance will just be able to claim it for free like they did the first time.
I don't know, it's going to be a little bit iffy for Curse to fight that one. They did burn a total of 4 summoner spells, I'm looking at it, trying to kill Rise at that tower, and they only traded 1 for 1 for it, so they are going to have to do something kind of miraculous in this next Dragon fight in order to really kind of keep themselves in this one, because Ordinance, like you said, with the coordination they have, is really starting to pull ahead at the beginning stages of this game. Ashe with her item build with a kill on Graze and a little bit of, actually about even on farm, but Ashe with the build order win with the
Ordinance
BF
is
sword.
Looking to set up a gank in bottom lane again. They have Ashe Arrow up, they have Nocturne ult up, they're looking to try to arrow somebody down there or something, but Saint Vicious is also down there, so it looks like it's going to end up not being anything. The one plus, and really the only plus right now for Curse, is that Karthus is farming, and he is really farming very hard. He has the most minion kills in the game, and again, as long as he can keep farming, even if he's dying, it's not really that big a deal.
Ooh, there goes that gank in the bottom you were talking about, Sullla. Nocturne's going to come with the ultimate onto Elements after tagging with the Zephyr from Janna. It looks like he is, he's popping the ultimate. He is getting very low, will actually fall. Cop, unfortunately, not being able to do all the damages necessary by himself. And now there's 3 members of Ordinance, like you said, setting up the gank, moving on towards Dragon. They just have really complete flow control over this game right now.
Right there, yeah, just as we said, Ash Arrow ended up hitting Tarek right into Nocturne ult, and then they do that so that they can go ahead and claim this dragon. So I mean, this is what you see from really top teams, that they set this up in advance. They're planning this. Oh, then we have an attempted steal on dragon there by Graves with the ult. Does not quite get it, unfortunately. Ordinance Gaming does take that, so that's going to put them up to about a 4,000 gold lead. But that's sort of why they picked the champions they did. They've got this this great initiation pair. They've got Malphite ult too. We've seen them use that in middle lane as well to score some kills. So if they can keep this up, then we'll see if they can just continue snowballing this game. But they're really in great shape and they're looking quite good. Again, like I said, really the only thing that Curse has to hold their hat on right now is just that Nyjaki's farming extremely well, and he is going to be super scary the longer this game goes on. But if they can just keep pulling off these 3- and 4-man ganks, then their Ordinance is going to be sitting pretty.
The thing is, though, Nyjaki, even though he has the most CS in the game, does not have the kills that the members of Ordinance Gaming do. So he's actually still behind in gold to Rise in the mid lane by about 600 gold, and he's definitely behind that Ashe on the bottom lane by another 200 or 300. So he is the most farmed member in the game right now. Unfortunately, he does not have the most gold. So it's a win for Curse because he is going to be farming up. Like you said, he is going to be a little bit of an AP hyper carry. This gank here in the mid lane, if it goes in favor for Nyjaki, could really start spiraling him in the favor Curse really needs. But it looks like Rise is going to be able to get out of there just a-okay. Doesn't even have level 2 boots right now, but did go for a Rod of Ages after the Tear of the Goddess. So he is a little bit tankier than he might want to be at the beginning stage of the game. It is about 15 minutes. He's had that Rod of Ages for a couple ticks right now. It's 18 health and 18 mana and 20 health on that right now. So relatively new item, but still giving him the tankiness he needs to survive through that Alistar and Karthus gank. Karthus is going to go back and probably pick up his own Rod of Ages right now, but he does just not have the damage to fight champions right now. He is going to be able to farm himself up into a good place, as you've been saying, from that mid lane, but still, he's just not dealing the damage to champions right now, and Curse going to have to play a little bit more passive than the aggressive style they've done early to really kind of keep themselves in this as they transition into like the late game.
Yeah, Curse will definitely have to play less aggressively just because they are behind and fairly significantly behind for this early in the game right now. So they are going to have to pay attention to that, which again is not really their style. They like to play very aggressively. So we'll see if they're able to play against their style. Just a brief word about top. Both top laners did go back right now. They're both sitting on double gold per 10s. They really have just been farming that lane aside from when the jungler showed up. It's pretty even. Malphite slightly ahead, but not ahead hugely, just the global gold. And it looks like Nocturne's setting up for another gank mid with his ultimate, or somewhere. His ult is up, Ash Arrow's up, so I'm assuming that they'll probably try to use the two of them together to get a kill like they've been doing the last couple times they've been up.
This could be a little bit deadly for Karthus, as he is going to be pretty exposed in that mid lane. Although there's pings going down, St. Vicious does have an Oracle's Elixir, so he knows the ward to spot him in the bottom lane. It's actually kind of causes Nocturne to try to transition down there a little bit, so maybe potentially breaking up a gank from the middle lane. But you did mention that top lane, Malphite and Olaf a little bit even on the gold income, and Malphite maybe a little bit ahead. The item build though is really speaking kind of leaps and bounds of everything, as Malphite already has his Warden's Mail for his Randuin's Omen on top of a Glacial Shroud with his 2 GP10s, whereas Olaf really only has a Phage to his name, and even though Olaf's going to be dealing true damage to him, he does have to auto attack in between those to keep the damage up, and if he's going to be slowed and not dealing a lot of auto attack damage, that Malphite's going to be really, really hard for him to take down at any point in the game.
Well, Malphite does scale off of how much armor you have, so of course he's going to end up building. Sorry, go ahead. There's the arrow.
Oh, there's an Ashe that just barely missed Nyjaki. It saw it on the map. They are going to initiate on this anyway. Nocturne ultimate is not going to land the fear, though. It looks like they're not going to really care about that tower, though. They're just going to continue to go in. Kenneth's Rise is super, super tanky. Once again, not picking up the kill on a Curse member. They are going to flash for it, but then go back. Now, Nyjaki picking up a double kill with his ultimate. That's a misstep from Ordinance we did not expect after the early play.
Oh, that is a huge mistake. We even saw the flash being burned there by Kenneth's Rise and not getting the kill. You really do not want to be handing the double kill that easily away to the other team. So a huge mistake, really, really major error, and it looks like it's going to cost them their middle tower as well. Just way, way too aggressive in terms of diving, and they didn't even pick up Nyjaki there.
No, they did not. So a little bit of a misstep for Ordinance. It's not too bad, though, although instead of like the 4K gold lead they had before, they've currently cut down to about a 2K gold lead. Bottom lane, though, we are going to see that Elements are going to pick up a kill on Spellsy. So now Curse is, they're starting to kick themselves back into this game. Now it's about a 1.5K gold lead. Ashe did get away, but here comes St. Vicious. Hellbat goes down. Pulverize goes down. It looks like there was a Ghost Burn in that as well. Flash goes off from Ashe. Olaf is not going to get there in time to finish this one off, but still, now Curse is taking the fight to Ordinance Gaming, and I just really don't know how that happened, Sullla.
Well, it's quite a surprising reversal, I must say. I really wasn't expecting that either. Again, just an example of really aggressive play in mid, overly aggressive play in that case. Again, you want to be aggressive, you don't want to be too aggressive, as we always say. And then in bottom lane, a nice play by Cop and Elements, picking up 1 kill, and then the mid and jungle coming around, circling behind the tower, picking up the 2nd kill. It is a little surprising. Robert X. Lee is actually running Ghost Flash on Ashe. You do see that sometimes. It's a little unorthodox. So now we often see either the Cleanse or we see the Ignite oftentimes on the ADs. So he did pop the Ghost. It wasn't enough to get him out of that. Unfortunately, his arrow was down from the fight, so he wasn't able to escape from that, unfortunately. And with that sequence and getting bottom tower, this game's almost dead even. It's actually down to just a little bit under 1,000 gold advantage for Ordinance. So unfortunately for them, that early game lead they have has kind of gone up in smoke at this point in time. So they're still ahead. They're just not nearly ahead as they were before. And we'll have to see if they are able to snowball back out to a bigger lead again, or if Curse sort of continues their mini comeback here in this match.
The thing is, Ordinance has excellent ward coverage, and they've been doing this all game to really gain a big map advantage. However, Curse has 2 towers down, where Ordinance has yet to push 1 from Curse. So I'm going to be really interested to see how the map control that Curse is regaining by pushing down lanes is really going to affect the overall plan that Ordinance has. In the bottom lane, we see that Curse, Elements, and Cop are just going to keep going down under Robert Exley and Spellsy, getting a lot of burst damage on them with Graze, and actually Tarek not taking any damage, Graze not taking nearly as much as Ashe and Janna did. So now all of a sudden that bottom lane, you know, Cop wound up going back, getting his Infinity Edge. Ashe has had her Infinity Edge before him, but she's just not necessarily doing as much as Cop has been doing right now. Cop's actually doing a little bit more damage than Ashe is at this point in time.
This is going to be a really big dragon fight. Whoever gets this is going to be in the driver's seat. So, Tom, I'll turn it over to you for this fight.
All right, we're going to get really excited for this one. Element's going to come in from the side. Ashe arrow goes down. It lands on St. Vicious. Ashe is going to get blown up right there as Westrace has popped the ultimate and goes down on top of her. Janna's going to be getting away, but Westrace is falling down. Malphite super tanky, getting so low. They are going to switch focus onto Rise and pick up a kill on him. There's a Janna falling from that chase from Westrace. Graves is going to pick up a kill on Nocturne. Malphite is going to fall to a Karthus ultimate. That is a 5-for-0. And they take down the entirety of Ordinance Gaming. They take down this dragon, and now the map is all belong to Curse.
Oh, that could not possibly have gone any worse for Ordinance Gaming unless they somehow lost Baron off of this as well. But 5-for-0 and the Dragon, unbelievable. Again, Ashe getting bursted down immediately at the start of the fight. Ashe did no damage in that battle whatsoever. The other really key thing I saw, Nijaki and Karthus right into the middle of the team, was just dealing so much damage with his Defile, his little aura, his magical aura that surrounds him in the fights. Nobody really touched him in that fight. He was dealing massive damage. St. Vicious got off a great Pulverize, hit a whole bunch of the team as well, 2 or 3 people on the team. So just a Curse, perfect fight for them, could not have gone any better. And now they actually have a commanding lead, 3,000 gold. Not, you know, game not over by any means, but that is again a significant advantage back to their side. And they are just, it's really amazing how quickly this game has turned around in the last 4 or 5 minutes, from Ordinance being so far ahead to now Curse being so far ahead. So where it goes from here is anybody's guess, but we have a pretty good match on our hands here.
Yeah, I'm not making any predictions, because if I do, I'm going to wind up losing money on this one. So it's still anybody's game right now, and both Curse and Ordinance are impressing us in so many different ways right now. We did see Nijaki had a needlessly large ride for that fight, and with all the kills and all the damage he put down on that one for assist, he has gotten himself up to a death cap, so 361 ability power on him, whereas Rise at almost 3k mana, so he's pretty much on par for this point in game. 76 ability power to his name, but he just does not have the overall AoE damage that Karthus is really going to be able to deal out onto this team. And of course, we saw how devastating that can be when combined with the CC of Alistar. Ooh, missed initiation on that Ashe arrow. First they land one on Alistar and the fight goes sour, and now they completely miss it. So Ordinance, as soon as that Ashe arrow has been burned, they don't really have as strong of an initiate between the Ashe arrow, the Nocturne ultimate, and the Malphite ultimate, so they are just going to wind up falling back on this one. The 2 ultimates I did mention about being initiators right now are going to go at top lane to try to contest Olaf, just picking off yet another tower here. And it looks like Curse is going to give chase to this one, try to catch 2 or 3 members of Ordinance out of position. St. Vicious goes in with the headbutt Pulverize on Malphite. Not the best target, but they are going to, you know, even follow up with a stun, even though they're under tower right now. So just forcing Ordinance back and asserting their dominance that they've acquired randomly at this point in the game. Taking down a top tower right here and just really forcing Ordinance onto the back foot right now, as they are going to be ones in the defensive position at a tower, whereas Curse is being the aggressor right now, continuing to lay down the damage on the Rise right here. They are going to get a smoke screen off and just continue to poke. And this is very interesting here. We have Olaf and Graves throwing axes and throwing bullets in the way of Ordinance Gaming here, whereas Karthus is continuing to lay waste on them. And really, Ordinance can't really engage on this because they're too afraid of how much damage Karthus can do. They try to lunge in while they're on their tower. There's a Karthus wall waiting for them. There's a Alistar Pulverize that can just pop everybody up into the air. And then, of course, you have Olaf, who's just not really going to care about the tower in the way and just continue to dive on Ashe and Janna like he did last fight.
They didn't want to, the other reason that Ordinance didn't want to initiate there was Ashe was down in bottom lane, was getting in a little bit of farming down there, had to shove out bottom lane, so it was a 5v4 in favor of Curse, and with Ashe Arrow down, they were not looking to fight that. I'm expecting they'll try to look to fight with Ashe Arrow because it is back off of cooldown, so we have to keep an eye on that, see if they use that, or Malphite ult to initiate here at Blue Buff.
There is the Ashe Arrow ultimate going down, and there is actually a Nocturne dive. They are going to wind up blowing up Nijaki very early, and now they're going to have to get out of the area, though. Nijaki ultimate is going down. Looks like there was actually a triple kill going down. We saw Olaf chasing away Ashe and Janna. Rise is going to try to make it up for a double kill here and pick up a kill on the Cop's Graze. Rise will actually get a triple kill himself, but now it is 2 members of Curse to 1 member of Ordinance. Actually, St. Vich is getting very, very low. Quadra kill for Rise. I don't think he's going to get the pentakill as much as I'd like it, though, as Westrice just too strong and too healthy for Rise to take down right there. So, whew, yet another huge fight going down for both teams, and Curse barely squeaking out by 1 member this time. It was not the ace we saw at Dragon last team fight.
And Westrice just walking out of there amid all the blood and carnage is the only survivor of that fight, as all other 9 champions in the game dying. It was a good initiation by Ordinance. They got the arrow onto Karthus. They killed Karthus immediately. That just the problem with Karthus is even when you kill him, he still deals so much damage. A lot of that fight was inside his defile. He got off the ult that gave him a triple kill. Kennance, the Rise player, had a really nice fight. Of course, got the quadra kill there, and everybody just dying left and right off of that. So that one was a pretty even fight. It's not a good sign for Ordinance, though, that even when they get a great initiation like that, they still end up losing the team fight. That's kind of a bad sign. And again, it just mostly goes back to the fact that Karthus, when he gets Rod of Ages and Death Cap at like the 22-minute mark, you're just in for a world of hurting when he gets those items that early in the game, because he's just going to be putting out so much magic damage. So kind of an indecisive team fight. I guess that Curse becomes out slightly ahead because they did get the 1 extra kill, but mostly pretty even in that last fight.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that really helped Curse out was the positioning. Even though Ordinance got a really good initiate, unfortunately they blew up Karthus first, and they blew him up in this little brush here over by blue. That caused the entire team of Ordinance to split between support and AD carry and the rest of the team. And unfortunately, when you have an Olaf on the enemy team, he's able to really go in against the support and the AD carry. So that just kind of spelt doom, because the main damage dealer was not in the fight and actually got blown up from a very well-timed Karthus ultimate as Olaf chased them away. So a little bit of positioning blunder, but it was a great initiation. And even though they did trade 4 for 5, Curse comes out a little bit ahead of this one. There's another fight. Ashe Arrow does go off as Malphite gets tagged for the initiation first. He is going to go down on Graves right now. Janna has to pop the ultimate to reposition everybody, but look at Westrice continuing to lay down on Robert Lee. Even though he is very low, he will eventually die to that Rise. St. Vich is now getting very low. Malphite comes in from behind and tags him for the kill. Now Cop is getting super low. Karthus ultimate, he's still alive actually from the bush. We'll be picking up a double kill, but not before Rise can take down Graves. Now it's actually 3 members of Ordinance, super low. Look how low Nocturne is. He has 28 HP against this Karthus. Karthus is actually just going to lay waste and pick up a kill on Janna. And even though Ordinance comes out ahead with 2 characters, 2 curses, 1, that curse character is Karthus, and Karthus 10, 4, and 5. He is super scary right now, Sullla.
Nijaki doing his best hard carry solo queue impression in this particular game. He is really strong. He got, what is it, 2 more kills in that particular fight. I think that was one fight where we saw Westrice, Olaf, the Olaf player, dive after the carries of Ordinance Gaming, and he wasn't quite able to kill them. Robert Exley was able to survive for most of that fight and was able to keep doing his damage on Ashe. Nijaki did have some really nice walls that I saw there. It's hard to see everything that happened in that fight, but I did see that he got off 2 really nice Karthus walls. He initiated the fight actually with Karthus wall. He split up Ordinance, and he got Malphite trapped on sort of the wrong side of the wall away from the rest of the team. But Ordinance actually fought that pretty well in that particular fight. Again, they're behind, so if they're going even in these fights, that means that they're catching up, because they're getting more gold when they kill Curse, because Curse is ahead. Curse has more killing sprees. So it's about a little over a 3,000 gold difference, and these last 2 team fights have really kind of been indecisive. Just tons of kills on both sides. So here we go again with another dragon fight.
Ooh, there goes the Shurelya's from St. Vich, going and getting a nice pulverize on about half or more of the team of Ordinance. Janna ultimate goes off pretty early in this fight. Westrice getting exhausted. He's just going to burn his ultimate and go through onto everybody. Karthus ultimate is going to get everyone down low, but not kill anybody. St. Vich is continuing to go down on Rise. Will actually fall right there as the rest of Curse is not really up with him. Nijacki's in the back of this fight the entire time, but Cop will still get that kill down on Nocturne. The rest of Ordinance is super low, but Robert Lee with a nice sniper shot over the wall is going to pick up a kill on Graze, but that's just going to let Nijacki just lay waste, literally, to Ash right there, picking up yet another kill. I don't see who got Dragon in that fight. I'm going to
It was Curse
Curse.
Curse got the Dragon.
Yeah, so actually trading for a Dragon and 2 of their own team members for 2 members of the enemy team. So Curse coming out a little bit ahead in this game, or in that fight, is going to continue to push them forward in this game as we see about a 5k or 4.5k gold advantage from them. This is going to let them push down this tower. Unfortunately, for Ordinance game, 2 of the members that were left were Janna and Malphite, who aren't necessarily the most damage dealing of champions, whereas the other team had Westrice's Olaf and Nijacki's Karthus. So they're just going to push down that mid lane, recall with their victory, buy up more items, and we're going to see if that gold is really all they need to really push down to win this game.
Yeah, Curse came out ahead in that. They actually didn't have Karthus there for the entire fight. It was basically a 5v4 in favor of Ordinance, but they did have Karthus ult, and then Nijacki kind of came in there when everyone was super low, and he picked off, I guess, another kill with the Lay Waste on Robert X. Lee's Ash. So with getting Dragon and cleaning up that tower in mid in the aftermath of that fight, 2 for 2 plus a Dragon plus a tower, Curse definitely comes out ahead, and now they have it up to a 5,000 gold lead, which is a decent lead. It's not enormous. It's less the fact that they're 5,000 gold ahead, and more the fact that Nijacki is really terrifying as Karthus right now. He does have the Void Staff. He has 534 AP, so it's less about just the total gold differential as sort of where that gold is, and with so much of it being on a hyper carry as far as AP goes, like Karthus.
Yeah, definitely. He's about 13,000 gold, whereas the next member of Ordinance has about 11,000 gold. He's 2,000 gold above the highest farm member on the enemy team. So that is pretty much the definition of hyper carry. Just, you said already, his ability power is through the roof, 534 on that. He has a Void Staff on top of this, so not only is he dealing that much more damage with the ability power, but he has so much magic penetration on his build right now. Sorcerer's Shoes and that Void Staff. Even if you look at the rest of the enemy team, or the Ordinance Gaming's team, Malphite is now building some magic resistance with about 3,000 health to his name. Ash is going to just melt almost instantaneously when Karthus looks at her because of how much health she does not have. Same thing with John on the team. Rise building a little bit tanky with almost 2.5, almost 3,000 HP to his name, but all that magic shred and all that magic penetration is going to do wonders for Karthus in these fights.
But we should be fair to Ordinance Gaming. Their Rise player, Kenneth, he's really strong too. He is also by far the most farm member on his team. It's just he doesn't put out this sort of area of effect damage to in the same way that Karthus does. Kenneth is really good. He can probably 1v1 just about anyone. But Rise's strength is more 1v1 and not sort of team fighting area of effect damage. So anyway, here we go again.
Yeah, it looks like Nijacki's going to lay waste and a wall over the wall, if that's a little redundancy for you. You're going to deal a lot of damage to Malphite, just continuing to push Ordinance Gaming off of this Baron, and not even really go for it, but just continue to contest this and leave the threat there, because this means that Ordinance Gaming is eventually going to have to act on this, and when they do, Curse is going to be absolutely ready for this one. And as you're talking about Rise's build, he's almost complete right now. Tear of the Goddess is pretty much near full stacks. It is actually at full stacks. Has a Frozen Heart, has a Rod of Ages, has a Will of the Ancients. That's pretty much everything you need on that Rise, except for maybe a Banshee's Veil on finishing off the Archangel stat. So he is very farmed, and like you said, can pretty much take anyone on their team, but not the entire team at the same time. We saw him got a quadra kill earlier in the game, so we know that Kenneth is a very strong Rise player. So it's really going to be all about keeping him and Ash alive throughout this fight. If they get another really good initiate by this Baron with that Ash arrow and the combo of Nocturne and Malphite ultimate, Ordinance still very much has a shot. Going to go for the initiates with the Shirelias. The wall actually stopping that, letting Curse counter initiate on this one, even though the arrow was shot and everything. Malphite's got to come in to try to save Kenneth right here. He is very low. They are going to be chased down by Westrice, who him and Cop are going to pick up a kill onto Robert X. Lee's Ash. Karthus ultimate goes down to tag Rise as he's running away. Cop's actually going to get himself a triple kill because of all of this. And then we see so much damage going out on the rest of Ordinance Gaming. Janna, the only member left alive. One member from Curse did fall. Westrice did his job of Olaf, which is running at the enemy team and never giving up. And that is all they needed right there. A 4-for-1 trade. A Baron buff is taken by Curse. 56k gold to 47.5k, 5 kill advantage, 4 towers to none, and Curse with Baron buff is in a very strong position, I think we could say now.
That fight has put Curse really in control of the game. At this point, it's more their game to lose than anything else. They can still lose, but they have to make the mistakes at this point. That fight, it looked like a good initiation for what's it called, Ordinance Gaming. It looked like they got a good initiate. They did get that Ash arrow that once again hit Karthus, but again, the Karthus wall just really destroyed them in that fight. It completely split them. It allowed them to counter initiate, as Tom said. They got Malphite once again split off away from the rest of the team, and then Westrice playing as Olaf is able. He just dies after Ash, and again, the key thing there, even though Westrice did die, he also managed to kill Robert X. Lee, the Ash player. And meanwhile, Graves, Cop playing Graves, is just able to sit back, just firing away. So the difference between on one side, the AD is getting assassinated, on the other side, the AD is just sitting back auto-attacking. That's enough of a difference that you just win the team fight. Malphite's trying to do that for Ordinance Gaming, but he's just getting blown up too fast because he's got all this armor, and then he's dying to Karthus, who's dealing magic damage.
Yeah,
because he hasn't really. I mean, he's got the Abyssal, but he still doesn't have that much magic resist.
They really do have quite the 1-2 punch. Their AD carry is super fine right now, going all the way through his build with Phantom Dancer, Infinity Edge, Last Whisper, right now the Quicksilver Sash. They can't even really initiate on him as well as they want to. He is at a very, very fine point in this game. Ash does not have the Last Whisper or the Quicksilver Sash yet, so Cop definitely leaps and bounds ahead of the enemy AD. And like you said right there, they're going to have to face the physical damage of Graves at this point in the game, which is enormous, or the magic damage of Karthus at this point in the game, which is enormous. So either way they go, they're not going to be able to really resist both of them. The only real route they have is to build a little tankier and build more health, but at this stage in the game they really can't, because they really can't even farm right now. Just ever so slowly slipping behind in gold. Now about 11k gold advantage for Curse. They're losing their towers left and right, and Ordinance does not still have a tower down to their name, so Curse is just continuing to push their advantage right here, even just zoning people out with that wall. Rise is going to Rune Prison down on Alistar, but they're just able to take shots at that tower. Graves, like you said, just sitting back, wailing away, and just shooting his gun. That's what Graves does best.
Yeah, with Nijek is almost 700 ability power, and his ult deals about 1,000 damage to everyone on the enemy team. Really just crazy. In that last little fight here at the tower, they were just using that wall to zone. They're just using the wall to zone and then poke at the tower and then try to force an engage. So looks like we might have that here. Maybe not, we'll see. But if nothing else, Cop's just going to poke down this tower, so Ordinance is going to have to do something soon. They're probably trying to stall out this Baron because they don't want to fight while the Baron's on, but they're in a really difficult position right now. The tower's just going to get sieged down if they don't do anything, and if they do force a fight, they're probably going to get wrecked. So there's really not a whole lot they can do. They're in a very difficult position here.
And Curse's minion wave is actually naturally pushing the top tower too, so the more time that Curse makes them waste down here with this Baron buff on this tower, the more chance they have of knocking down the tower on top and just pushing further down in two places. So Ordinance is going to have to decide here. They are actually just going to go in and poke down this tower, not even go for an initiation here. Ordinance just really has no response to them walking in and taking the tower. We're going to have to see if they do the same exact response to this inhibitor though. Nijeki pops into file, but is not going to go in on this one. St. Vicious and Westrice leading the charge, just wailing down on this inhibitor. Look at the zoning job as you were talking about by that Karthus wall, just completely negates any initiation from Ordinance Gaming. They take down the inhibitor. Shirelia's out of there. It looks like they're just going to take every single buff in the jungle, go back, maybe buy some items, or just push down the middle lane. And Kurtz, like you said, complete control of this game at this point in time.
Yeah, Curse I will likely look to go back and buy after this, just because the Baron's about to time out. They've picked up a lot of gold from the 2 tower kills and the inhibitor, so they can go ahead. They've probably all got 500 to 1,000 gold here. I guess we can check this. Yeah, they've all got about 1,000 gold to spend here, so they're going to go back. They're going to look to buy now that their Baron's out. They stole the blue buff away, so Rise or whoever is not going to have that. And they've got that bottom lane down, and that's a really key lane to have. That bottom inhibitor, you never want to lose that one because it's the one furthest away from Baron. So when Baron respawns in about 3 minutes from now, that's going to be very difficult for Ordinance to contest because that bottom lane is going to keep putting pressure on their base. They're going to have to send somebody back. So Ordinance is in a very difficult position. They need to use one of their initiation tools, either the Ash Arrow that they use really effectively in the laning phase, but they haven't quite managed to make it work here in the team fighting phase. Either they need to hit an Ash Arrow or they need to get like the Malphite ult that hits 4 or 5 members of Curse, although Curse is doing a nice job of not staying grouped, so they avoid that, or Nocturne diving onto somebody, but just something, catch somebody out of position or some kind of a mistake on Curse, just some kind of a chink in the armor to let them get back in this and get back into this particular match, because for the last 15 minutes or so, Curse has just been looking unstoppable on this match.
Yeah, and they're just continuing to wander all over the map wherever they please. Ordinance Gaming not going out any further than they're at Wolf Camp right here. Now Curse seems to have set their sights on this top tower. They want to push every single lane down into the base of Ordinance Gaming and really just contain them in the pen of their own base. So here we go right here. Jana is actually going to shield the tower. which isn't going to do too much considering the rest of Curse is going to be able to blow right through that armor around there. So they're just going to take down that tower. Ordinance has to fall back to the inhibitor turret, and we could potentially see either another poke war like we saw with the Baron buff before, or just a direct engage here by Curse. Either one is going to be very deadly for Ordinance Gaming. That card this wall once again being used to zone and just block any initiation from Malphite or the Ash Arrow. Both of those skills are up, and they really want to go in and try to catch this grouped up Curse team. The only one not grouped up is Karthus, which is going to be poking over the wall with late waste, dealing damage on the Ash. Ash is only going to be able to poke back with volleys, and it's just really right now, kind of degrading into watching a CLG match. Everybody's just going to be poking back and forth with skills, not really hard initiating, but look at the damage. Ooh, Nijaki taking too much, actually. He's going to die to that Ash ultimate over the wall. He's going to pop his own ultimate, not enough to take anybody down. You were talking about making blunders right there. I think Nijaki was having too much fun trying to high-five people over the wall.
Yeah, that's a pretty big mistake there on Nijaki's part. We'll see if Chris is able to get away from it just by virtue of being ahead. They're pretty lucky that Baron is not up right now, and also that they got that bottom inhib, because unfortunately for Ordinance, this is one of the things where you see League of Legends being the snowball game that it is. Once that inhib's down, you got to keep defending that lane, so it looks like Ordinance can't really come out of their base. Not that there's a lot of objectives for them to grab anyway right now on the map, but they're gonna have to defend that bottom lane, and even though they got a really nice pick there on the Karthus, there's just not really a whole lot they're gonna be able to do. Not gonna be a whole lot they can get out of this. So again, it's a little unfortunate for them that Baron wasn't up. They did pull back a little bit in the gold. They're able to pick up a slight about 1,000 gold off. Now they're only down 10,000, and I think they're at like 11 or 12,000 before, but that's not gonna be enough. Unfortunately, they need to do that a couple more times to get back in this, or they need to score a kill and then take Baron. That would also get them back in it. But yeah, a little bit of a derp moment there from Nijaki. And anyway, Baron is going to be back up very soon. Both teams are pinging it, so looks like they're going to have a big fight over that. And we'll see if Ordinance can take this and get back into this match.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be basically on the wire right here. If Ordinance is able to contest this Baron, they're going to bring themselves back into this game. If not, then it looks like Curse may just have the advantage they need to finally push it down. Ward's going on all over the place. There's an Oracle's Elixir on Janna, so she knows exactly what is up. Tarek has his own team's Oracle's Elixir, though, so it's not really like anybody's going to be going blindly in this one. Flash Pulverize, and then the headbutt knocking Ash out of the fight here from St. Vicious. That's going to be a very good initiation from Curse. There's an Ash Hour a little bit late to the fight. Malphite's going to have to reinitiate, but through the Karthus wall. So much damage goes down. Nocturne is going to fall. Westrace doing what he needs to do, just forcing everyone out. Cop is going to tag with a buckshot there and pick up a kill on Ash. And oh no! There's a kill being picked up for on Spellsy for Nijaki as they take him down. Malphite getting extremely low too, and that is just going to be another 3 for none in favor of Curse. Westrace got low but did not die in that fight. That is going to be a Baron. That is going to be a lot of dead members of Ordinance. That could potentially be the game here. 3 members down from the enemy team, down for about half a minute still. Curse has a free route on the bottom lane. Their creeps are pushing on the top lane, and they can push right down into the middle lane. And it looks like Ordinance is going to really have to pull a miracle on this one to really come back.
It should be another inhib at the very least. Possibly the end of the game. We'll see. We'll see how far Curse is able to push this. Nijaki, by the way, now does have 804 AP with the Baron buff. I don't even want to know how much damage his ultimate's doing. I guess it's doing about 1,100 damage to everybody. So yeah, in that last fight, that was just St. Vicious. Flash Pulverize, initiate on Alistar. One of the reasons why Alistar is still very useful, even in late game. Even though he's more sort of a supportish jungle, he always still has that initiation. Just really set up the whole fight. And of course, they got another nice Karthus wall, etc., etc. But a great initiation. St. Vicious winning the fight with his Flash Pulverize and turning it into a Baron.
And turning it into 2 inhibitors. Would have been 3, but the bottom one did respawn for Ordinance Gaming. So taking all the inhibitors possible, blowing all the teleports and all the Randuin's Omens as they are just going to recall, heal up, looks like maybe buy a couple potions or their last remaining items if they don't have them already, and continue yet another push down. As Ordinance right now, they can't leave their base. They are down by an insurmountable amount of gold right now. 28 kills to 21, 9 towers to 0. And even though Curse got off to a really rough start, they really pulled it together towards the middle stage of the game, pushing down towers and Ordinance could not, trading evenly and effectively in fights, getting that big dragon ace over there, like back towards like the 15 or 16 minute mark of the game. And ever since then, they've been riding a little bit of a wave of success. We already see how much more control they have over this game right now. And with the Baron buff on their side, even St. Vicious just standing over by this blue buff is going to be enough to let Ordinance Gaming just kind of let it reset. And actually stealing it with a smite too. Wow. St. Vicious not giving him any advantages, shift 4ing all the way home. And it looks like now the rest of his Curse buddies gained up. This could be a last push of the game here. If Curse takes it, they're just going to walk into this base and win. If Ordinance can push back on them, then we have one hell of a game on our hands, Sullla.
If Ordinance can find some way to do this, I will be seriously surprised. This would be the miracle of the century if they're able to survive this one. They're going to lose their third inhib here, and once those super minions are flooding into the base, it's going to be incredibly difficult, seeing as how they haven't been able to win the fights even when the other team doesn't have 50 super minions pushing into the base. It's going to be very, very difficult, but we will probably get to see a glorious last stand here by Ordinance Gaming. They've looked good at different times in this match, but it just continued to snowball against them the longer this has gone on.
Yeah, Rise is still 12-5, so it's not exactly like he's in any kind of bad position right now. He is probably dealing the most damage possible. Westrice just tagging some damage onto Malphite under the tower. Almost gets caught under tower range. There's going to be a Nocturne ultimate going down. It looks like onto Karthus. Janna ultimate though to reposition everybody. There's so much damage coming out from Curse right there. 2 kills from Graze and Alistar. There's a Karthus ultimate going off. Graze will actually result in a double kill there. He picks up a kill on Rise and Janna. Now it's the most fed champion on their team dead. Ash actually dying while she's in the fountain. Westrice even tanking fountain shots right there. It looks like it is going to be a decisive game 1 victory for Curse, coming back from an early game deficit to just decimate the end stage of the game and take a well-deserved victory.
Yeah, impressive stuff from Curse. I mean, they were legitimately behind. They were looking all out of sorts in that game, and that game was one of the most dramatic turning points I think I can remember seeing. Just we saw that dive in mid. That was the double kill for Nijaki, and it seemed like that just got him started going. And it was like as soon as that happened, the game just turned against Ordinance, and they were never really able to recover from that. As soon as that happened, and as soon as Karthus got going, it was just Curse took control of the game, and they never looked back 1 inch from there.
No, not at all. So that is going to be game